Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I think the phrasing would be less than ideal news about the upcoming set, Fusion Strike. Now, what we must be super clear about before we get rolling here, this is unconfirmed, and I've not seen any proof. I have heard this from multiple sources. I have heard it from enough people that I'm starting to believe it, and that I think it's worth doing a video about, and I think it is true, but I've not seen any proof of it, and I cannot confirm it, so this should be taken as an unconfirmed but fairly credible rumour, rather than taken as something which is definitely true. We all good? Excellent. So essentially, the rumour is that Fusion Strike on release is going to be heavily allocated and fairly difficult to get hold of. Now, the tweet we've seen, and honestly this could have come from like a million different people, I've seen a bunch of these, is basically said, in case you've not heard, I did get confirmation today that Fusion Strike has had a print error and it's resulting in a really small first wave in November. Allocations will be for everyone. This is not the only place I've heard this. This is just one example of a place where I have heard it. Now, I've checked with a few people who run stores, etc., who seem to be telling me similar things. The lovely Stephen Kent, he of Playscape Games, thinks it's going to be similar numbers to Evolving Skies for booster boxes, meaning there'll be a similar price at launch. And actually, if we're talking similar to Evolving Skies, that's really not a huge problem. You see, when Evolving Skies launched, it wasn't perfect, but there was stock out there. Evolving Skies was out there at launch. Now, since launch, the unfortunate huge demand has caught up with us, and it is now getting more and more difficult to find Evolving Skies. Again, as we're going to talk about, there's going to be more prints. It's really not going to be the end of the world. You don't need to worry too much, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be okay. But it is fair to say that at the moment, Evolving Skies is becoming more difficult to get hold of, I think is a fair way to put it. But when Evolving Skies launched, you could pick up booster boxes for £115 fairly easily in the UK. Now, to put it into some kind of context, Evolving Skies and every set really should retail for $3.99 a pack. 36 packs in a box, it should be £143.64. So the fact that you could pick them up pretty easily for $115 really says pretty good things. This is nice. If we're in a similar situation there, I think we're likely to be okay. I mean, I showed you this pre-release image. This is from eBay before the set actually launched, and booster boxes were readily available for at or just below RRP. So if we got a similar situation going on to Evolving Skies, it's not going to be a huge issue, because that just means that you'll have to get on fairly quickly, and then you'll be okay. It does mean that after release, it is likely to get a little bit worse, but this is something, and I do think this needs to be absolutely stressed. Pokemon have been really, really, really good at this lately. Pokemon have been listening. I mean, somebody reminded me this morning of a tweet that I sent out in February saying that, of course, they're working on a new Pokemon online client. Why would they not be? And would you believe it, this past week, Pokemon Live went and got revealed. One of the things we know about Pokemon lately is that they are listening to us and they are acting on our feedback. So a large part of the reason of making this video isn't to make you guys panic and go, no, Fusion Strike's going to be unavailable, the sky is falling, let's all run away. A lot of the point of this video is to say Pokemon have had our backs lately. I mean, the example I always run back to is Battle Styles. Battle Styles, on release, we were in the middle. Battle Styles really was at that kind of perfect place where, and I say perfect not as in a good thing, but perfect as in it all came together in a very wrong way, where demand was super high, but the damn panic made supply really low, and Battle Styles was really hard to get hold of at launch, and you couldn't find Battle Styles for RRP. Well, Battle Styles has since gotten to the point where you can buy a booster box for £94, which is, like a third below RRP, and they've stopped printing it, Pokemon have, or at least that's what we've heard, because nobody really wants it anymore because the stock is out there and it's readily available. So even if it is allocated at launch and hard to get hold of, it's not going to last. One of the things that the Pokemon Company have showed us very, very clearly is that they are going to reprint products that are selling out. Sets don't go out of print and become impossible to find. Now, sometimes they do in the short term, Battle Styles, great example, but lately, the past year or so, every set has been reprinted to death, and that's a wonderful thing. Just yesterday, I showed you a video about Shining Fates, giving a bunch of examples of now being the best time to buy Shining Fates, because actually Shining Fates has gone from impossible to get hold of and the most heavily allocated set I've come across at launch, it was ridiculous, to being able to pick up fairly easily below RRP. Although, as a side note to yesterday's video, and I did say this in the video, I am fully aware that not everybody in every region in every country is going to be able to find all these products super easily at the moment. My point was that in many places they are easy to get at below RRP, and that is a vast change. So we have a real, pile of evidence that Pokemon are going to reprint. So if Fusion Strike is heavily allocated and if it is hard to find at launch, don't worry about it, it's going to come back. And the other point, and I was chatting to the lovely Stephen Kent who made this point this morning, but it's a point I was going to make, if we look at Evolving Skies, you couldn't really plan a much more popular set. Evolving Skies literally had all of the evolutions and Rayquaza. You can't really find a more popular set than putting all of the evolutions in and Rayquaza. I mean, for goodness sake, that set had the alternate art Umbreon VMAX and the alternate art Rayquaza VMAX and the alternate art Sylveon VMAX, and they were really just the three top cards. They were the tip of the iceberg. It kept going from there. If you think about sets which are going to appeal to the collectors, you can't really get much higher, and there are a whole bunch of really playable cards in Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies was Pokemon's really kind of knock it out the park, super popular big set. And they coped on launch. Like I say, since then it's become harder to get, but we know that reprints are coming, and we know that that's going to be fixed in the short term and the medium term. And then it's going to be nice and easy to find again. And that is going to happen with Fusion Strike. And there is absolutely no reason to believe it's not going to happen with Fusion Strike, because it happened with Battle Styles, and it happened with Chilling Reign, and it happened with Shining Fates. It's going to happen with all of the sets. And this is wonderful, brilliant, awesome, fantastic news. Yes, on release, it might be a little bit of a pain, though again, this should be taken as an unconfirmed rumour. We don't have numbers. And we don't have official confirmation, but even if it does, it's not the end of the world. I mean, Fusion Strike, by comparison to something like Evolving Skies, we know we've got Mew VMAX, which is cool, and obviously Mew is a super popular Pokemon, and we know that Gengar VMAX is coming, and although we don't know for a fact, we can assume that the alternate art Gengar is also coming, again, unconfirmed, but highly, highly likely, but that's basically it. And Mew and Gengar are both really popular Pokemon, but that is it. There is nothing really in terms of popular Pokemon underneath that. I am personally super hyped for Chandelure, but let's face it, Chandelure is not a Pokemon that everyone loves as much as I do. Which is sad, but then again, it makes Chandelure stuff easy to get hold of because not everyone's fighting over it, so it's not the end of the world. Now, in terms of why it's been delayed, we're told print error. I'm not even going to try and figure out what this is. I'm not going to speculate on why this might be. I don't know. And you don't know unless you work for the company. So it's not even really worth getting into or talking about. It really is honestly largely irrelevant. We'll maybe be told later, maybe we won't. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The point is, yes, there may be allocations on launch, so if you're really desperate to get hold of it, try and make sure you get your pre-orders in as soon as possible, but don't panic because we know Pokemon are going to reprint. And in terms of competitive play, and that would be the big issue, right? If these cards were not readily available and there were big tournaments going on, but the fact of the matter is, the cards are going to be online because everyone's going to be entering the code cards, and physical tournaments aren't really happening right now. So that's less of an issue, much less of an issue than it has been in the past. So honestly, I don't think it's a huge worry. No, it's not good news. Obviously, it's not good news. And it does mean that the launch of Fusion Strike might be a little bit sad and a little bit lower than we'd like. And this isn't great news. Although, unfortunately, it is something we're getting a little bit used to. But the fact of the matter is, Pokemon have shown us enough at this stage that we really just shouldn't worry. It will be okay, just might be a little bit low at launch. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the news, that's what we know, that's what we can discern. But as always, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know your take on this. I want to know how excited you are for Shining Fate. So let me know. No, wait, that's not the set. Fusion Strike. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.